today I'm going to be making my first crochet tutorial ever, and I'm going to be showing you how to crochet a scrunchie, which scrunchies are very easy and beginner friendly, and when I was a beginner I made a whole lot of scrunchies. So let's get this tutorial started. Alright, so first of course you're going to need your materials. So first obviously you'll need a little elastic scrunchie band. There was like 100 pieces of these on Amazon, and they were really cheap, so you can find these anywhere, but just get these little scrunchy rubber bands. Next you will need a pair of scissors, a crochet hook, which definitely use whatever hook your yarn recommends, but I'm just using a 5mm hook. I am just using a weight 4 medium yarn. It's just kind of a beige neutral color, so that's going to be the color of my scrunchie. So let's get started. Alright, so first what we're going to do is we're going to start with our scrunchie and our hook. And so this isn't for absolute beginners because you have to learn at least some stitches to make a scrunchie, but I will be making more tutorials on different stitches and things like that. So let's get started. So first I'm going to take the rubber band and I'm just going to put my hook through the rubber band. Just put your rubber band on top of your crochet hook. And now we're going to grab the end of our yarn. And what we're going to do is we're just going to put our yarn on top of the crochet hook. Like that. And then we're just going to pull the yarn under the rubber band and go over, put our hook over the rubber band. So we went from the yarn being outside of it, and then we just pulled it in the rubber band and put our hook over the rubber band. So after we got our hook over the rubber band, I'm going to take this is the small tail that's not connected to our yarn, but I'm going to take this tail, the long tail, that's connected to our yarn. And so what I'm going to do with our hook over the rubber band, I'm going to chain 1. And then I'm going to chain 2. And then I'm going to chain 3. And now we have a chain of 3. And I'm just going to pull this little string that's not attached to anything right here. I'm just going to pull it a little bit to tighten it onto the rubber band. So after you've chained 3, now I'm gonna kind of hold the tail because we want to crochet over the tail. So now I'm going to yarn over, and then after I'm going to go inside the rubber band, and then I'm going to take my yarn over, pull my yarn down and pull it up a loop, and then I'm going to yarn over again. I'm going to pull my yarn through two of the loops and leave this one here. And so I have 2 more loops on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2. That is called a double crochet, and that will be the start base of our scrunchie. Okay, so that was very easy. Make sure when you're crocheting that you're holding this tail that is connected to nothing, but we want to kind of be holding it on the rubber band, so we are kind of placing our double crochets around the band and the string that's attached to nothing, so we don't have to weave it in. So after that, I'm going to keep doing that all the way around the ring until I have at least until it's completely filled up. You don't want it to be too filled up, so I'll tell you how many I put in mine and then we can continue. And by the way, if this string right here that you're carrying around is too long, what I want you to do, just like the string that's not attached to anything, you can just cut it. And so then it'll be shorter to go around instead of weaving in the ends. So I'm going to come back when I finish placing all the double crochets, and I will tell you when I am finished with all of my double crochets. Okay, I am back and I'm done, and I've crocheted all around my scrunchie, double crochets all around my scrunchie, and so I have done a total of 35 double crochets. You'd have to probably crochet more, but this is just the size of my rubber band, and I've done 35. So a standard rubber band like mine would just have 35 double crochets, but if you still see some missing spots, then you can continue to double crochet. But me, I think I am done. So now you should be meted at the other side of this stitch, and you see this right here, you could just insert your hook into it, and then you're gonna pull through it, and you should have 2 loops and hook, but you're not gonna yarn over like you would. No, you're gonna use this hook, this loop in front, and you're just gonna pull that through that loop, and then you're just gonna pull your yarn up a little bit, and then you could just kind of pull it back down, and that is called a slip stitch. So now you have completed 1 round. Good job. If you could complete this 1 round, then you can most likely complete the others, and I'm going to show you how. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to chain. I'm going to chain up 2, yarn over, pull through the loop, and then I'm going to do that again 1 more time, yarn over, pull through the loop, and that is 2 chains. Okay, so next we are going to be placing some ruffles. If you just keep it like this, you can, but I find it looks a little basic, and that's not how I make my scrunchies. But if you do want to keep it like that, that is totally fine. And so here is our chain 2, and we're going to actually chain another one. So let's chain another one, and that will be 3. We chain 3 because that is how tall a double crochet would be. So after we chain 3, now we're going to start the ruffles. So now you see the space where the next, where your yarn right here is coming out of, where you place with your chains and stuff. We're going to yarn over, and we're going to go right where our chain is kind of sitting in this kind of hole right here where our chain is, and we're going to go inside it, and we're going to double crochet like we did. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and then pull through 2 again. And so then we are going to go in that same space because we need to put 3 double crochets in that stitch. So we have 1 and 2 in that stitch, but we need 1 more. So we're going to go in that same space where we put our second double crochet, because we count this chain 3 as a double crochet because it looks like a double crochet. So we count that as a double crochet. So you have 1 and 2. So now we have 2, but we need 1 more in that stitch. You're going to yarn over, go in that exact stitch that you just went into, and place a double crochet. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so now that you have your 3 double crochets in here because you just put all 3 into that same stitch. Well, we count the chain 2 as a double crochet, so you have 3 in there. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to chain 1, and we're going to go in our next stitch. So how you know where your next stitch is you see that they kind of have these like V-like chain, those V-like stitches. That is your stitch, and so you're going to go in the V next to the double crochet you did. So trying to get a good angle, but this is the double crochet, and this is the V next to the double crochet, so that is what we're going to go into. So I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to just place a double crochet in that stitch, and so we have 1 double crochet in there. What we want to do is we're going to place another double crochet in that same stitch. In the same stitch that you have your double crochet, we're going to place a second one, because you got to put 3 in there. And so you have 2 double crochets in that stitch, and now you're going to place 1 more because you want 3 in each stitch. And so now that I've double crocheted again in that same stitch, I have, you can see it, 3 double crochets in that 1 stitch. And every time you're done placing 3 double crochets in 1 stitch, you want to chain 1, because the chain 1 will make it look more ruffly. And so I'm going to show you 1 more time. I'm going to yarn over and double crochet into the next V stitch. And so I have 1 double crochet, and I'm going to double crochet again into that same stitch. So I'll have 2 in that same stitch. That's 2 double crochets in that 1 stitch right there. And then we're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, so that will be 3 double crochets. We have our 3 double crochets in this 1 stitch right here. And so after you do 3 double crochets in that stitch, you're going to chain 1 and move to the next stitch. Okay, so I'm going to show you just this last time for the ones who don't get it. I'm going to chain 1, go into our next stitch, and put a double crochet in there. And then I'm going to place another double crochet in that same stitch, the same one that we put that one in. So we have 2, put another in that same stitch, because each stitch has to have 3. And now that stitch has 3. And every time you do 3 in one stitch, you're going to chain 1 before you move to the next stitch and double crochet again. So I will repeat that all around, and I'll come back and show you how to end off. Okay, so after crocheting a little bit, you will see it to start to ruffle, and that's actually pretty good because it's going to start looking like a scrunchie. Okay, so now this is what it is looking like with all of its ruffles. And so now what I am going to do is I am going to finish. This is my last stitch right here. And so I'm just going to finish putting my 3 double crochets into my last stitch. 2 and this 3. Alrighty, and so now we are going to, once we are done with putting all our double crochets in, we are going to chain 1. Okay, and then we are going to go into, you see this chain right here that's kind of like on the edge right here? That is what we're just going to go into that double crochet inside of that double crochet. Kind of at the top of the double crochet. I don't know if you can see. I'm trying to get a better camera angle, but like this is the double crochet, right? And you want to go into, we're going to go, once we go into that double crochet, we're going to pull up a loop until we have 2 on a hook. But instead of pulling through 2 like we normally do, you see that you're going to use this hook, this loop to pull through this one. So pull that loop with your hook and pull it through that one. And kind of just pull to tighten. And now it is time to just kind of end off because we're done with our scrunchie. And so we are just gonna cut so we don't have a long tail. And what I like to do is just chain, like act like you're chaining 1, but just pull all the way through. And then you boom, you've ended off, and then just weave in this end right here. But technically this is your scrunchie. I don't have a lot of hair to use this, but hold up, let me see. A lot of hair, but like, I don't know if there is your scrunchie. And I will show you how to make, because some people like their scrunchies extra thick and ruffly. And so maybe in another video tomorrow I'll show you how to make an even more ruffly scrunchie.